All right, the White House supporting Defense Secretary Ash Carter. Carter apologizing for using a personal email account earlier this year to conduct government business. He used the private address even after the controversy over Hillary Clinton's email use erupted in March. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest saying while Carter's email practice was a breach of administration policy, it was not a violation of the law. Yet. Meantime, Senate Armed Services Chairman John McCain is now requesting copies of Carter's emails to see if sensitive information was compromised. McCain also releasing a statement reading in part, quote, with all the public attention surrounding the improper use of personal email by other administration officials, it is hard to believe that Secretary Carter would exercise the same error in judgment. It's actually, Andrea, it's not that hard for me to believe because I think a lot of people are just lazy. And, you know, he's sitting there waiting for his car and he's maybe editing some of the speeches he's going to give and he uses his personal email. But laziness is one of the factors that got Hillary Clinton into this mess, isn't it?
I think with Hillary, it was an intentional deceit. I mean, she went as far as to set up a separate server from her kitchen table that was stored in a toilet in Colorado where she could conduct official national security business, opening us up to potentially the largest security breach in decades. Yeah. Just because she didn't want to have to cooperate with FOIA laws and information request keeping. That, to me, is intentionally deceitful. She knew exactly what she was doing, and arguably, she was doing quid pro quo, Melissa, as we learned from the New York Times, for the Clinton Foundation. Very different. But I do see liberals starting to speak up. You're going to hear this. Well, Ash Carter does it. Hillary Clinton does it. They all do it.
It's not
that big a deal. It's just a mistake.
It's not an oopsie, though. And here's the difference that I think exists here. Obviously, her server was unsecured. I mean, she thought that having two Secret Service agents outside her house meant that no North Koreans could sneak in the middle of the night with screwdrivers and pry the back of the thing open. Right. But here, I mean, he was actually using an iPhone and an iPad. Everyone's mad on the right about encryption. I would argue that his emails are safer on an iPhone than they are at his .mil account.
Well, I mean, I think
especially considering the hacks on the Defense Department, the Chinese hacks, the hacks at OPM.
Yeah, that's true. Although I know a lot of data firms that only use BlackBerry because they feel like as antiquated as it is the safest. But I digress. I think that one of the things that is different, though, if we're comparing the two situations, is that Ash Carter at least stepped up and said, "Here's what I did," and he owned it, and he was like, "I shouldn't have done this." Where she wouldn't even admit that she had done it until there was this overwhelming evidence. I mean, they just denied, and at least he did own what he had done.
Is he owning it because there's something else coming, or do you think this is innocuous?
No, because it's embarrassing. It really is inexcusable, given that Hillary was going through that firestorm, and in the middle of it, he's doing the same thing. I mean, as you mentioned, as the terrorists are using encryption devices to communicate. I mean, this guy, with all due respect, this clown is using Hotmail, for God's sakes, potentially classified material. As one of the candidates says, and I forget who he is, he says, we're being led by stupid people. Yeah. Right. And that's what it seems like.
So what do we do here? I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, it just says something about the culture that nobody thinks they're going to get in trouble for these kinds of things. Even as this whole Hillary investigation is going on, he's still doing it. But like you said, at least he said there's no excuse. Rather than Hillary said, oh, look, I didn't know. It wasn't my fault. It's your fault. Why are you being so mean to me? You know, why are you being so mean to me? Is it because I'm a woman? But, you know.
Well, there should be repercussions.
You broke the rules.
No, but do you see what's happening, though? We're sitting around talking about Ash Carter's emails and his Hotmail account instead of talking about Gitmo terrorists being released. It's like we're being sent down a rabbit trail by the left again. We're getting mired in emails. And what was it? Was it Gmail? Was it Hotmail? What do you think he said? Was it a yoga pose? Was it not? It's a distraction.
Yes,
let's stay focused. Right. This is not like Hillary Clinton. This is less serious, but let's stay focused on the issues and not take the bait.
All right, very good
to say about that.
Yeah. One school district closing its doors today after an uproar over a controversial Arabic class assignment. Is it an overreaction or a symptom of heightened fears following the terror attacks in Paris and California? We will discuss. It's Outnumbered.